Welcome back to Ski-U-Mah Weekly, presented by the Minnesota Lottery here on the Gopher Facebook page. We mentioned a lot of women's hockey discussion today. They host the St. Cloud State Huskies in playoff action this weekend at Ritter Arena. And to further talk about that is a couple seniors. We have Cara Piazza and Sydney Baldwin. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
I got to ask you first, because you're from Illinois, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel like a random outsider here in this land of, Norwegians all over the place in Minnesota? How did you get to the University of Minnesota? I know it's a long time ago, but take me through it.
Yeah, well, just like in my recruiting process and where I was from, a lot of people from my high school team go out east. That was just kind of the direction. And so for me, at the time, my brother was committed to Boston College, and so my thought process was well, I want to be by my brother. Everyone's going out east, so I probably should too. And so that's where I mostly looked intentionally, and then just through camps I met Frosty and JJ and realized that they're just incredible people.
Right.
And I got to know them, and they invited me out to visit. And so I came to visit with no intention of coming here, and I didn't really know much about the program, and I fell in love. I remember just driving on campus with my dad before even meeting with the coaches, and I knew right when I got there that my plans that I had for myself totally changed.
Wow.
And that I found a place that was just perfect academically, because it's a great school, but obviously the hockey, there's no better place to be. And so it just had everything, and then obviously the coaches were huge. And so I was a little nervous, coming to a school where there's a lot of Minnesota kids, but I've never once felt like an outsider. So many people have invited me to their homes for different holidays where I can't go back, and so I've just been welcomed here. I mean, everyone's been so great to me.
And it's days like this where it's 12 degrees and snowing really heavily that you love it, right?
Yeah.
You say, I'm so glad that I made this decision to come to the
Pretty similar to Illinois, so it's
you're used to it.
Yeah.
Sydney, what about your recruiting process? Obviously, you're just from up the road, a little bit west on Highway 7. Why was it the University of Minnesota for you?
Yeah, hearing her story, it's a little bit different for those Minnesota kids, especially so many of the people that I play with in high school games or on those summer leagues, they end up coming to the University of Minnesota. And I went to a lot of games when I was younger and had a lot of people that I played with in summer teams that were a part of this team. And so I always wanted to come here. I've been here to the campus a bunch of times before I actually got recruited and committed here, so it was a special experience and always wanted to come here.
Well, we're here in your lounge, and you've got your All-Americans over here, you've got your Olympians over there. I'm sure you grew up watching Natalie and or maybe you're not even old enough to grow up to watch those players, but what do you remember about those teams that you watched growing up?
Just they were so good. There's so many role models, and you just always loved coming to the games and watching them. And I know some of those players who were All-Americans and Olympians throughout the 4 years that I were here have just been huge role models for, I think, us as we get older throughout this program, and just really special to watch all these people who have been a part of this Gopher team.
I want to ask you to compare and contrast years that you guys have had here, but I'm just curious. Obviously, we know it's a little different when you've got some Olympians that are in and out. So from your expectations before the season to where you guys are now, how would you feel like you've kind of lived up to what you thought this team could be?
Yeah, I mean, each year I think every team is so different for different reasons, just personality-wise, and obviously you experience it different with being in different grades. Freshman year, you have no idea what to expect, and then as a senior, you can kind of compare it. And just what I've realized this year is that we can compare to past years, but each team is different, and that I always say yeah, it's an Olympic year, and okay, we have 3 players who redshirted and aren't here because of it, and I think it's given each player an opportunity to play in areas where they probably wouldn't, know. I mean, just stepping into different leadership roles and probably playing a little more maybe than you would with 3 other players here who are obviously incredible players. So we miss them, and they're great, but it's been also a fun experience, I think, for me just to be able to step into a different role and maybe a bigger role than what I would have. And I think our team this year, personality-wise, we've gotten together, gotten along so well, and we've had so much fun, and each year has its own struggles and trials, and I think they show up differently in the records. And this year I think our team has come together so well, and I firmly believe that we can go really far regardless of what our past games have been, because I think we've just gotten better as the season has gone on, especially looking at the past couple weekends.
Well, I'd have to say, Sydney, Wisconsin obviously is #1 in the country right now, and it seems like every time I read about those games, whether it's here or there, it's always in front of a sold-out crowd. It's always crazy. Brad and I were just talking. I don't call him Frosty because I don't have as great a vibe as you do, but Brad and I were just talking. It's kind of like USA and Canada. They're always close. They're always intense. But that has to, if you're trying to get the underclassmen to believe that you guys can do some really special things this year. Look no further than this past weekend, right, where you guys played really well on the road against the top-ranked team in the country.
Yeah, definitely. I think all 4 games that we have played against Wisconsin have been 1-goal games. And so this weekend, I think we proved to ourselves that we can definitely contend and we can beat them. And it's just kind of about us coming together as a team and peaking at the right time and, bringing a full 60-minute game, because both these games this past weekend were really close games and they were within our control and within our reach. So just bringing, a little bit more next time we play them, hopefully we'll get the job done.
We've talked a little bit about the Olympians, the former Gophers that are there. Of course, there's 7 former Gophers, 1 current Gopher. I know you guys are really close with Kelly. So, what's that like, just watching one of your friends compete at the highest level on the highest stage at such a young age? That's got to be crazy.
Yeah, I can take the front half of this one. But, we talked with Kelly. We have talked with her, I think, throughout the whole process. And I think she's one of our, one of our best friends. And I think we're both just so proud of how she's handled this year. And, she's just grown so much, I think, as a hockey player over the past year and a half, 2 years. And she definitely deserves that spot of where she's at, and we're so proud and excited to see her just have so much success at that next level. And definitely I think excited for her to come back. We miss her a ton, and I know, but she's just been doing such a good job, and we're so proud of her.
How much do you get to talk to her now? During the game, are they sequestered in the village? Do they have Wi-Fi? How much? And there's the time difference too that you have to keep track of. But what's that whole experience like?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely throughout the whole process have been trying to just keep up to date with her and what she's going through, because Baldy said, she is one of our best friends, and so we just wanted to keep in contact. And especially with her being in South Korea now, I think the time difference is 12 or 30, something.
It's 15 hours.
Yeah, something ridiculous. And so we've been able to text her a little bit and Snapchat and that kind of stuff. I don't know if we've even FaceTimed her, because
I did, and I FaceTimed her at 3 a.m. her time, and she was not.
I bet she appreciated that.
Yeah. So it's fun to check in every once in a while. I would say since she's in South Korea, we haven't talked to her as much, but obviously always a good luck and check in after the games a little bit. And then obviously when we were in Wisconsin, she was texting us a little bit.
So you guys have business to attend to this weekend. I'm curious, did it go by as quickly as possible? When you mentioned your freshman year, you don't know what's going on. You remember driving around. Does it really go as quickly as they say it all does, that basically just got here and now you're wrapping up your careers?
Yeah, I think of when we were in St. Louis last year for the Frozen Four, and it does not feel like almost a year ago. It feels way less than that, and I think this season just has flown by. I've had so much fun just being able to connect with the freshmen in different classes in different ways, and obviously our senior class, I feel like we've come together really well and had a really good experience this year. And so for me, it's definitely flown by, and it's cliche, but it's really true, how quickly it goes by. And I think each season has gone by quicker and quicker as my time here has been.
Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I think too, we also had so many games in our first half of our season that once we hit winter break, it just it really, you blinked your eye and it was, we're here starting playoffs. So it has gone by super quick.
Last thing, what are the plans after graduation? I know you've got hockey to play and classes to go to, and don't want to make you look too far down the road, but what are you guys planning to do after your Gophers?
Well, Baldy's answer is probably going to be a lot more exciting than mine. I have another year of school, so I'll be around here next year just finishing up classes. And
stay as long as you can. Stay as long as you possibly can. Especially now, can you still eat at the nutrition center?
Yeah, I think so. That's what I'm most excited about. Yeah, so I'll be GWH's biggest fan next year. I'll probably be at almost every home game, and I don't know, hopefully be involved a little bit and finish up my classes. Yeah,
and then I will this summer probably be getting an internship, and then looking to continue to play hockey next year is probably my plans.
Outstanding. Well, both exciting answers. Well, thanks for taking the time today. Good luck this weekend against St. Cloud State, and hopefully beyond and beyond and beyond.
Yeah, thank
you so much.
Cara Piazza and Sydney Baldwin here on Ski-U-Mah Weekly. Remember, they're playing St. Cloud State this weekend, Friday night, Saturday afternoon. If necessary, Game 3 will be Sunday afternoon as well. You can buy tickets at gophersports.com. Thanks for watching us. Oh, Debbie. I'd love to pronounce her last name, but I'd mangle it. She wins the Minnesota Lottery prize pack for leaving a comment on today's stream. Don't forget, you can do that every single week, and we'll be back next week, Monday, right here on the Gopher Sports Facebook page.